insane.
I don't know who would broadcast for 8 hours. That's the entire workday. And we are live. Hello, we have 3 people watching.
Okay, I'm good.
I know it's kind of weird. I did a little trial run the very first time, and I didn't really tell many people I was going to be going on, to do something. I just wanted to test it out, and it's weird when you're talking to a camera.
It is very weird. It's a very weird concept to try to think like, oh, there's actually people watching us, and like you're on like one side of the continent, and like it's just weird. Yeah, like you're not here in person. And now I'm rambling because I'm nervous. Okay.
So would you like to start with introductions?
You can go first.
Oh no, this is my YouTube channel. I'm Angela. I live in DC. I'm currently earning my PhD at American University. And today I am joined with the absolutely lovely, amazing Bibliovirgo, aka Ryan. I love her face. She's already smiling, laughing, nervous. If you are not following her on Bookstagram, FYI, she is one of the prettiest Bookstagrams in existence. I mean, I love it. I don't know how you don't have like 50,000 followers at least. It's amazing. You're gonna have to tell me how you take those pictures, by the way, because they're stunning. Every single picture, it's stunning. I mean, if you just go check out her Instagram feed, it's amazing. I linked all of her channel stuff information down below, her YouTube, her Instagram. You also have your website, your blog, which is just, oh my goodness. I mean, it is so pretty, amazing, love it. She's making her blush, I don't mean to. But I mean, her blog, it looks so professional, and you have all these reviews, and you have your Love Me campaign. I don't know if you want to tell people about that as well.
Yeah.
Great.
So mental illness is kind of an important aspect of my life as well, because I have a lot of friends who will deal with it. I have OCD and anxiety, and I also love lifestyle, and I also love giving people lifestyle tips on how to make their lives easier and better and how to manage stress and all that stuff too. But I love books, so I was like, how can I incorporate mental health and lifestyle into my book blog? So I was like, let's do a Love Me campaign to kind of incorporate self-love and lifestyle into book blogging. So that is how Love Me started.
I mean, it's a really touching campaign, and I love the pictures. Again, everyone should go on your Instagram. Your Instagram is just, I don't know, it's amazing. It's almost unreal to me because everything looks so perfect. I mean, you have the book blogging elements, you have your own writing elements, and now you have your Love Me campaign. I mean, this girl's amazing. Plus, she has a book coming out.
I do. Originally, it was supposed to be coming out in April, but the publishing company was working on other books, which is completely okay because they have a lot of, like, a lineup of authors, obviously. But April 1st, my manuscript got submitted, and it is going through first edits as we speak right now. And, like, it's still so surreal to me, but it should definitely be out come summertime, which is super exciting.
I was just posting on Instagram like, we are live. I was doing a little thing. I was like, we are live. We are here. We are talking. I know you are so impressive, Little Miss, and because you're a little youngin' and you have all these things on your CV, your resume. You're killing it.
I actually do. My resume is actually huge, and I just keep adding to it. I'm like, how did this happen? I don't understand.
I mean, you also have done reviews for a lot of really well-known publishing houses. Yeah. I mean, when I was on your website, you have them all listed, and it looks so impressive.
Yeah, I got really lucky with that. Simon & Schuster Canada spoils me to death. Same with Dundon Press and Raincoat. Shout out.
The dog is like, I want more information. He's barking at a dog across the hall. So there's a dog on the other apartment who's barking. He's like, I want to bark through the door across the hallway at you. Dog logic. You have a cat though, right?
I have 2 cats. Yep. Benji and Ari.
You named it. I was gonna say, was this before or after he was the Bachelor? Ari.
Ari's actually the girl.
That's a great name though for.
Okay, well, I love the name Ari, but like her full name is Ariel, and she actually lays down like a mermaid at moments, and I'm like, wow, your name fits you perfectly.
That was one of my the Disney adaptation was one of my favorite.
She's my favorite Disney princess. Yeah.
She was mine. I mean, I love Belle, but I mean, I really loved Ariel. I mean, it's one of those, like, you love them all, but I think you have a special connection with at least one or two.
Yep.
And then Elsa came out way later, and so
yep.
it was like 11, 12, and still loved her, my princess, but still. Oh, we have comments. Hello, people. Hi. Can you see the comments?
No, I can't.
Okay, because I always do this little preface. I wear progressives, so I have to lean in very, very close to read the comments. So I apologize if you see the top of my head. So we have Franny Marie. Hi, Franny. Hi, Lady Gizmo. Morris, I always want to. If I ever mispronounce your name, darling, I sincerely apologize. Morris Della Paz, you are the cutest. And I printed out your tweet from earlier because I wanted to talk about it because she's just so sweet. I asked people because, I mean, I don't know if you just want to dive right in. So today's live stream is inspired by Ryan's blog because she did a post and I printed it out because that's amazing. So tips for staying focused when you're writing. And she's blushing. I mean, so basically you inspired me for this because I think there's so much to talk about, so much to, potentially unpack and everything else. And I asked over on Twitter what other people thought, what their tips and tricks were. And Morris had, this really nice tweet. She posted this over on Twitter and I printed it out because I didn't want to forget. It's really hard when you have so many windows open and I didn't want to forget. I love this idea. It was changing the paper size. So the window, so you see the zoom in or not. So she changes the paper size to give it a different appearance. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I love that idea for changing the way something looks so that you kind of get a little bit of a different vibe. I changed the font and the kind of the style and size sometimes, but I love the idea of changing the paper layout. That was brilliant. I was like giving her a little shout out with that. I printed it. I want to make sure I highlighted it.
Sticky notes. I'm a religious sticky note user. Religious.
I'm just get all my little stuff over here. Get a little insight into what goes on, beneath the camera sometimes. That is the best mug ever. I don't know if you guys just saw that on camera.
It's a mocha. My go-to drink at Starbucks lately has been a mocha. I've been craving those. Anyway.
Oh no, I'm a Trenta Very Berry Hibiscus girl, and I always get the Trenta because there's fewer calories with the Very Berry Hibiscus, so I figure it works out in my own little head. I break even somewhere along the way, even though it's so much caffeine.
Yeah,
a lot of caffeine. We have her blog article, and I linked her website down below, so you can go check it out. I highly recommend you do, and yes, I printed it. So I don't know how you want to go about this. I mean, I want y'all to participate and tell us what your tips and tricks are for staying focused. I want to know what you guys in the comment section do because I think there's so many different ways to stay focused when writing, and it's going to vary from person to person. You raised a lot of great points, and I don't know if you want to just go through it, kind of point by point.
Okay, what's the first point again? Because I don't have my website open.
So you talked about not writing on an empty stomach with the fuel.
Ooh, yes.
And the dog was like, yes. He's like, I want my treats. I cannot be hungry ever.
Okay, so one thing I did not actually touch upon in the blog post was the clothing you wear. There are two types of people in this world. People who would like to wear no makeup and sweatpants and sweatshirts and who would just like to be comfy, cozy and be able to sit crisscross applesauce in their chair and just type away. And I completely agree with that. I have my moments where I'm like that. But then there's other people who are like, if they dress right, like if they look professional, if they have their makeup done, if they have their hair done, they feel like they can get more done during the day. And sometimes I have moods like that too. So cater to your needs. If you want to wear sweatpants and wear no makeup and have a messy butt on your head, like, you know what I mean? Like, write however you feel. If you want to wear a freaking blazer, wear a blazer. Like, just do whatever you feel is right. And I feel like what you wear really does help that because you have to be comfortable and you have to feel confident when you're writing.
That is, I mean, I think you're amazing. You're just touching something. No, it's true because there's some days when I am just in my, my Victoria's Secret boyfriend sweatpants, and that's all I really want to be in that day, and I'm happy and I'm comfortable, and today I did my hair, did my makeup, and again, this made me feel good today. It's not the same every day. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the movie. It was The The Edge of 17 with Haley Seinfeld.
Yes.
There's a scene where her mother, she's had a really bad day, and she goes and she says to her, she's in the car, and she says, "I'm going to go home. I'm going to put on my best dress, do my hair and makeup, and then I'm going to take it all off, and that's going to make her feel better."
Yeah.
See, I think you're going to have to do a second blog post because that in its unto itself is going to sound
yes. Part 2, writing tips and tricks.
Oh my goodness, I just saw Franny. She has a comment. You get the strawberries cream with extra caramel. That sounds amazing at Starbucks. Oh my goodness.
I've heard a lot of people liking that Frappuccino, the strawberry cream one. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that because like I've tried strawberry milk before and it was really weird.
I'm not a big fan of strawberry milk. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and the iced green tea latte. I get that all the time. Unless if I don't get my berry, I'm getting some sort of tea latte.
Oh yeah.
I also like the green tea frap, but I get very specific with the green tea. I get it with skim milk, unsweetened, and no whipped cream. And then for some reason, it's like the latte to me, but it's only a little bit, enough.
Bigger.
Like my special treat. I also will do, around Christmas, I got into doing the vanilla bean frap with pumps of peppermint, and it tastes like a candy cane.
Okay. I had, like, never really gotten to Starbucks until I went to school, because my school is, like, in, like, my downtown city core. And then my friend Vanessa introduced me to the vanilla frappuccino, and we call it the cloud because it's just so light and creamy on your taste buds. And it's just, so we call it a cloud because it literally like dissolves in your mouth.
This is how we know you're a writer, because this is the description that a writer would use for something. I mean, oh my goodness. That was actually one of your points in the article. And I have all the little post-its, like I numbered what we're going to be talking about based on the article. And one of them you actually specifically cited was having your go-to writing drink, having your own little way to, get in the mentality of sitting down to write. If you need your coffee, sit down.
Like, to start my day, even to just plan my planners, to make my to-do lists, or maybe it's a paper day. I'm a managing editor for my school paper. I need coffee because it relaxes me. And, like, that's my liquid courage. I don't really like alcohol, but like coffee is my liquid courage. Like that is my motivation for the morning. And I'm a morning person, so I need coffee. Like it's just my go-to drink. It calms me, and it's like, okay, you can do this. It's like a little cheerleader in a cup.
Oh no, I'm one of those people where I I ran out of half and half today, and I take half and half and sugar. I do the sugar in the raw. I do sugar in the raw, not the full sugar or like a brown sugar, but I ran out of half and half. So this morning it was just such a weird day because I didn't have my half and half for my coffee. I mean, these things, they make a difference in a way.
They really do. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was actually one of my questions, what people's go-to writing drinks were, because I actually posted this over on Twitter, and a lot of people are saying tea is their go-to writing drink.
Yes, actually, I did a poll on my Instagram before.
I've been tagging you, by the way. Every time on Twitter I tag you, but I don't think you update your Twitters periodically, so when you go into Twitter, you're going to have a lot of notifications. Just putting that out there.
Oh no, I will check that in a second. Oh, yes. Poll. So I did a poll. I was like, do you like tea or do you like coffee? And actually, like, it was so close. And, like, I think a few more % actually said they liked tea. I feel like I need to be in the mood for tea. I can always have coffee. I can have coffee any time of the day. But, like, with tea, I have to be in the mood, and then my mood depends on what kind of tea I have, because, there's Buddha's blend from Davis tea, or I could have some peach tea, or I could have some blueberry tea.
I go for the chai tea. Chai tea is my go-to.
Chai tea is good too, yeah. I'm going to check my Twitter right now. Did you tag me? How long ago?
Oh, I've been tagging you all day. Every time I posted, hey, we're going live tonight. Oh, so Franny, you have to have hot chocolate or tea. That is
hot chocolate is amazing in the wintertime. I totally and 110% support that.
I see. Again, I live in DC, right? So every 2 blocks there's a Starbucks, and their hot chocolate is just amazing. There is.
By the way, just want to let you know, I associate DC and Washington with Grey's Anatomy.
That's Seattle, Washington.
Seattle. I know, but I just hear Washington, and I'm like, Grey's Anatomy.
I just think I aged myself drastically in my head, even though I didn't watch this as I thought Frasier, because he has the Space Needle in his logo, and I watched that on Netflix. Not when I dare, but on Netflix. So you just made me think of Frasier in Seattle. But I mean, you can think of Scandal though. If you're a Shonda Rhimes girl, you know, you can always think Scandal. I mean, she was in DC, right?
Yeah.
You like Earl Grey. So Lady Gizmo wrote she likes Earl Grey tea any time of the day. Yes, Earl Grey. I also like the English breakfast blend. That is another
Yes,
one.
that is like the tea. Like if I can't choose what I want and my mood can't decide for me, I'll be like, all right, black breakfast tea it is.
I recently started getting into the chai tea because I ended up buying accidentally through Peapod when I got some groceries delivered the K cups. The K cups.
Yes, yeah.
And so I got that, and it was just the best thing in the world. And so now I just keep replenishing that stuff.
Nice.
The accidental buy turns into something real.
Yep. I love that when that happens. It's like, I didn't mean to get this, but now I really like it.
We have more comments. Dana! Oh, Dana's the best. She just posted a comment over on the Cozy Mystery, or how to start your Cozy Mystery. It was it was so great. I love seeing the comments. I love seeing people, you know, participating. Dana's a sweetheart. Dan and I, you ate too much and you're skipping your martial arts class tonight. Aw, you can. I was like, instead of seeing martial arts, you're going to talk about writing. I love it. I don't even know where they do martial arts stuff nearby. I know there's a UFC gym nearby, but aside from that, I don't even know where people would do martial arts if you're interested in that.
I don't know if we have like a lot of martial arts things in like Windsor, but like we have a lot of yoga studios. A lot. You do yoga now, right? Yes, I do. I love yoga. You say you're always posting on something on Instagram, and her live feed. Again, I am really pushing your Instagram because it's just so amazing. You had your little Instagram, you had your yoga mat, and I was just going, yeah, doing yoga. You're motivating me. Like at-home yoga is great if like you don't like to do it in front of people or in a class, because like you get to do it with yourself and you get to focus on yourself, and it's just you and the mat and your video you have on your computer, so it's really nice. I was gonna say, so I tried to do yoga at home, and my dog Max, who you've been hearing barking, trying to pop up, every time I get down on the floor to do anything, he comes running up. I cannot do yoga with him nearby. I just can't do it. He just gets, as soon as he sees me on the floor, it is playtime for him. He starts bringing me his toys, his bones, just anything. I can't do it. I wish I could, but he's just his own little feisty. Yeah. Very needy. I got a needy little guy, but I love it. When I do my yoga, my cats will like crawl underneath me or like they'll lay on top of me, and I'll be like, there's actually this thing in Windsor, like there's actually like yoga sessions called like cat yoga, and it's like a stress relief. So I mean, like, yeah, it works. Do yoga with your cats. And there are apparently a ton of dojos where Dana's living. I don't think there are any dojos near me. I even forgot the term for place for martial arts. I mean, aside from seeing the Karate Kid, I don't really know that much. Not with that attitude. I mean, I don't really know if you could see me in a martial arts class. I would probably just open a book and watch, just go in the corner. What type of style of karate or kung fu? Oh, so we have someone who does know something. So we just found friends. They know. But I think that actually kind of bleeds into something, kind of trying to get back on track just a smidge. You were saying at one point that you can take breaks, do yoga, do something, and so you could be doing martial arts. Yeah, exactly. Oh, so we have another comment. So Franny, sorry if this is off topic, but I was wondering if the write-in, I'm sorry I'm leaning in so far, but again, the glasses. No, I don't know if you guys are like looking at the top of my head wondering like, oh, is she naturally blonde? No. Sorry if this is off topic, but I was wondering if the write-in this weekend is all day. You need to get, yes. So it's not off topic. We can talk about this. So Words in the Page-a-thon is happening this Saturday, April 7th. So starting at that point in time, spending all day writing. I mean, the goal is for it to be a 24-hour write-a-thon, but again, I know that is super ambitious. Yeah. Write as long as you can. That is the main goal. Write as much as you can. If you can only write an hour and then you're tapped out, you're tapped out. That is fine. But the biggest goal is putting time aside to write. Because I made a note, so we're just getting into this a little early. I'm one of those people where I don't think you can force yourself to write. No. Oh my God, no. But so if you've been super, super busy and you've had a lot on the schedule, a lot on your plate, and you need to be able to say, oh, I know I will write on X date. Well, you're writing this Saturday. Put the date on, on the calendar and mark that as your writing day so you don't feel pressure on the other days.
So the Words and Page-a-thon has, multiple levels and reasoning behind it. So this Saturday, and that's actually a great little, reminder to pitch. So not off topic, Franny. Thank you for asking. This Saturday, get your words on the page.
And honestly, I think write-a-thons are super duper effective because it's a challenge for yourself. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to write for this many hours, or I'm going to write this many words. And then you give yourself a timeline. And it's okay to take breaks too, but I feel like write-a-thons are super effective because instead of you just saying, oh, I don't have time today, the write-a-thon is like, okay, this is a write-a-thon, so I'm going to have to write as much as I possibly can. So I think it pushes yourself. Yeah.
Part of my thing is too, and you're also a student, so there's some days when, you're either really tired, you've had a bad day, you're super busy. There are days you just can't write. And so I think if you have one day marked off in your calendar, that's going to be beneficial. I think you're better off having one day a week or something and, having the write-a-thon. I think that's a way to really jumpstart your process.
Definitely.
I mean, I think there are a lot of benefits to something like this. And so that's why I was trying to foster this. And it's nice to know people are interested. So if you're going to be writing this Saturday, let me know in the comment section. That's really
I do have an opening shift for work, but I should be home around 12:30. So I'll probably start around 1:30 and I'll probably go all the way to 8:30 or 9:30. At least I'll try to.
That's amazing though. I mean, that unto itself is, writing as much as you can over the course of the day.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. And so, I mean, you're amazing anyway. You just got this. You got this. But I mean, that's something too. You touched on this, and this is something I always preach. I'm not one of those people where I can't force myself to write. You have an entire paragraph, and I think I highlighted the entire paragraph.
I feel like if you force yourself to write, the right thing is not going to come out on the page. It's going to sound forced, and anyone who reads it out loud will be like, this doesn't sound right. I can tell that you were just digging something up inside of you to just put on the page. And you don't want that. You want your best possible work at any time you write. So you've got to just let if you feel passionate about writing that day, then write. Write however long you want to. Put away the dishes, leave them for later. Leave the laundry for later. Leave everything. Forget about your to-do lists and just write. Because if you're feeling it at that moment, at that day, take advantage. And don't feel like, oh, but now my dishes aren't done or my laundry's not done. It's like, no, you took this time to write. And you're working on your work in progress. That's amazing. I feel like, I don't know, those people who just sit down and write and just put the words on the page, maybe you go back and edit it and you make it better, but I feel like you really just need to be in the mood to write and you have to feel it. It's like, oh my gosh, I know what's going to happen after this next chapter and I really have to get it down on the page. You know what I mean? Especially for poetry too, it's really difficult. For me, emotions move my poetry. I'll just be sitting there in class, or I'll be on the bus, or just even talking with my friend. I'll be like, hold on a second. I take out my notes on my phone and it just hits me and I just have to start typing.
See, I agree. I'm one of those people where if I've had a bad day, and I know there are some people who say writing can be really, cathartic, and that can make your day so much better. But if I'm having a bad day, my writing is probably going to be reflective of that.
Exactly.
So I'm better off not putting myself in a situation to produce poor quality words or poor quality elements of the story, because I'm not doing myself any favors later on. I'm going to be having to edit. I'm going to have to worry about the tone or the characters or something, because there might be a disconnect. I know I do this sometimes when I take breaks in between writing, because I have so many different projects that I'm trying to work on. If I work on one project and I come back to it, several weeks later, I have to refresh myself, and you don't want it to sound completely disjointed. And if I force myself to write, for some reason it always sounds disjointed. So I've learned not to force myself to write.
Little tip to kind of overcome that, if you still want to write that day, try writing poetry. It's honestly I don't know, it just makes me feel a lot better after. It's okay, everything that was inside of me it's outside now and it's on a page. Or you can journal, just write all your thoughts in a journal, you're talking to your friend, or do writing prompts, kind of just fun, quirky things that it doesn't matter how good it sounds. It's just a creative way to get the juices flowing.
I was gonna say, I downloaded a couple of writing prompts, and they're so funny because they'll give you randomized words and snags. And they'll be just completely just off the cuff. You can never predict what's going to come out of those. And I think they can potentially lead to something because, I'm sure when Terminator first came out, the idea sounded completely insane. But things that are odd, that are paired together sometimes work. So you might actually get a real story from something that's randomized.
Yeah.
I was just looking, we have comments. Lady Gizmo, you're super impressed. This is in regards to Dana, but before. And everyone should, or you'd like some people to study self-defense. I'm very little, so I don't know how effective my self-defense would be, but I think everyone should at least try. I did those RAD classes. I used to volunteer at the Women's Center for undergrad, and they made you take the RAD classes.
Oh.
Environments. And then Franny, you're very welcome. I like the little heart emoji. It's always so cute on YouTube. And then Dana, I did see up above, you said you wanted to include martial arts for your character, for your cozy. I actually don't know of any cozy mysteries that have to do with karate or martial arts, so you might have a very unique setting right off the bat.
I'd like to read a book that has that. Yeah.
You can fight something up, but grounded game sucks. I have no idea what that means. I think that has to do with karate. That's over my head. And then the dishes and laundry are never done, so it's okay to put off. That's very true. As long as you have enough clothing hanging up that you can get away with it for as long as possible. And then Lady Gizmo, you find yourself getting distracted. Yes, that was something else. That was the blog post. That was something else I wrote down. Actually, that was actually on my little list.
Woo!
I'm trying to be prepared. I'm trying to be prepared because I have Max. You've heard him. You've seen him.
Yes.
He's very distracting. That is something that I have to deal with. The pets, and then you in your article mentioned you go to Starbucks. I honestly don't know if I could be a Starbucks writer.
It's actually funny because a lot of the mornings, especially once school did start back up, I just go early, like literally as soon as Starbucks opened, and that's like when it's just quiet, and I just keep typing and like just writing, and then I take like little breathing breaks and sit back. And then once it got more busy, I don't know, like I found a way to zone the people out, but I did write better when I was just at home in the quiet. But I don't know, I can do both, but it is harder, obviously, to focus around other people. Another distracting factor I find is my phone. So I will put it in another room. I'll put it on silent, anything that kind of helps me, even though I love Bookstagram to death and I love seeing everyone's posts. Like, Kayla Reeves just posted a photo, right? Her heart just posted a photo. I'm like, I need to see this. So I have to put it into another room or else I'll be tempted to check it. And if you're writing on your laptop, make sure if you write on Docs, make sure you don't have any other tabs open because that can be distracting. And try to write using an app that doesn't use internet. I use Pages on my Mac. And people are like, why do you use Pages? Docs automatically saves. And I'm like, because I need internet for Docs. I literally turn off my Wi-Fi when I'm writing on my Pages so that I don't have to worry about being distracted by internet and notifications.
Megan Trimble over on Twitter, when I asked, she said she uses blockers. This is, again, I have to put my little post because I don't forget. She says she uses blockers. Otherwise, every link would be a distraction. And she used the GIF from Up with the dog, Doug, going squirrel. And that is totally relatable. I understood exactly why she used that GIF. I mean, yes, having, Wi-Fi on, having your email open. I get so many emails a day. It's ridiculous. I get several hundred emails a day. And so if I get the little, notification every single time, it's not going to be good.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you also touched on I think the location of where the computer, like if you're in Starbucks, how does that work? Do you have multiple tabs open, or are you able to focus as long as you don't have multiple tabs or something else? I mean, Oh, and thank you for clarifying. I just saw it says BJJ Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Thank you. I had no idea what that meant. I thought it was over my head. I had no idea what that was.
No, when I'm writing, I never have any other tabs open at all. I make sure everything else is shut down. I make sure the Pages is open full screen because on a Mac you can minimize and stretch it however you want. I make sure my desktop isn't open because it's kind of a distraction for me because I have a bunch of photos and videos on it. And sometimes I'll even just plug in my headphones just to kind of zone out. I have my Beats and they are noise blocking, so that really helps too.
I do full screen every single time I'm writing. Otherwise, I just want to block out everything because I also have again, we were talking about this before we went live. We both have multiple projects that we work on at one time. And so I have multiple projects on my desktop. So
yes, that too.
I can see them right there. And so if I don't have the window open all of the way, they're kind of lurking. They want my attention. They're distracting me, trying to bring me back there. So I have to do full screen. Otherwise, I'm just going to even get distracted within my own writing process.
Yep. It's like, oh, yes, I remember where I left off with that one. Then your mind wanders and you're like, maybe I'll click on it. No, don't do that.
I have to admit, Word calls you out. If you don't go into your document and you open it and it says, hey, welcome back. You haven't been here since, March whatever date or something. Word keeps track for you. You don't need to do it. And then good advice. Glad you like the advice. I don't know who that was, thanking me. I'm like, hey, I'm glad it's helpful. And then Dana, several hundred comments from someone. Everyone can comment as much as they want. I think comments are amazing. It is so nice to know that people like your content, and it's so nice to meet, online friends and stuff. It's just amazing. And it's not that it sounded dirty. I just didn't know what it was in reference to. And I knew what it had to do with martial arts, but I'm thinking like Mr. Miyagi, so I had no idea what it meant. I don't know if that's a very outdated reference at this point, because I know they did the new one? And now we're getting the spinning wheel of death, I think, a little. No, it's back. You're making a face.
I'm confused.
About the Mr. Miyagi, the Karate Kid? I don't know. I mean, is that different than jujitsu? What's jujitsu? Like, never mind.
Oh man, you could ask me what the difference is between a biography and an autobiography, and I could tell you, but I can't tell you anything about that.
Hi, Sarah. Hello. I just saw your comment pop up. There's always a little delay, so I apologize if you guys ever type something and I don't comment back right away. How long have you been working on your current work in progress, and how do you balance writing with work and school? Would you like to answer this question?
Okay. I have more than one work in progress. The one that will be released in the summer is called The Defective. It is a young adult dystopian novel, and that is 78,000 words, and I powered through that novel in 1 month. I didn't plan to write it in 1 month. It wasn't rushed. Everything felt absolutely right. The storyline literally just fell into place. Like each time I sat down, I was like, the chapters came to me and it all made sense. And I went back and edited it once before I sent my manuscript in. So that one took a month because of NaNoWriMo.
That's one of those movies about writers where just you're doing that montage, and that's what you just reminded me of, the movie montage of the writer.
And I was like, at the end of each day, I was like, my dad was like, how do you write that much? I'm like, that's all I did during a day though. I would just focus on my book because school was on strike. So I was like, I want to make the most of my time, and I've always wanted to complete a novel. So NaNoWriMo pushed me to write that book, and I did.
So you kind of were, were you a pantser or a plotter? I mean, so you were just kind of going.
Pantser, all the way. I was a pantser with The Defective. I just started, I started by writing the prologue because that got all like my initial thoughts onto the page, and then I went from there.
That's amazing. See, we're very similar. We both have multiple works in progress. And so I was mentioning this earlier. I have 2 stories. One in particular, I started working on it when I was 19. I'm not 19 anymore. I'm working on my PhD, so fill in the blanks there. So clearly, I've been working on this story for a very, very long time. And I love my main character. At this point, she feels like a friend almost. So I keep editing that one story over and over and over again to try and make it perfect. That one I've been working on for a while. And then another one I started when I was a couple of years, 20. I started writing, more and wanting to take it seriously and professionally when I was 19, 20. That's why I started taking all sorts of writing classes. I've taken so many writing classes from Writer's Digest at my university. I've read every single book available. I mean, I really did try and self-educate myself in regards to being a writer. And so I think that also made it, I don't want to say more difficult, but I ended up trying to internalize a lot of the advice before I would go write. So I had ideas, but I wasn't necessarily fleshing them out for a little while. So it took me a little longer to kind of get into the groove of writing. I'm also very protective of my stories. I don't want to send them out in the world until I'm officially ready. So some of them have been with me for, several years now. Some of them are more recent, but again, I think this has to do with being a writer. You're always going to have multiple ideas, especially if this is something you really want to do.
All the time. Yeah. You also asked how to juggle school with writing. I'm a planner person. Like, I love agendas. I have one agenda for blogging, and then I have another for school.
I saw that on your Instagram. It's the prettiest thing ever. She has color coding elements, and I was so inspired.
They both have gold in them, and I don't know how that worked out, but it just did. So what you do is, I feel like when I write things down, it's set in stone, and I have to do it. That's how I work. Maybe you don't work like that, and that's completely okay. So I'm going to give you 2 tips. Just block off a day and say, I'm going to write this day. Doesn't matter how long. Doesn't matter how many words. It can just be 1 word. Just write that day.
I also wrote this down because it made me think of this earlier about how if you don't know, have an outline and say, I'm just going to work on X element today of this outline.
Yeah.
So any of that about how if you don't know what's going on or you're stressed or you're trying to incorporate, if you only have if you have an outline, take one scene, one part, and just write that one, puzzle piece almost.
Yeah. And then a second tip, actually, I just thought of now because I've been using sticky notes a lot, is just put sticky notes around your house saying encouraging quotes about writing. I feel like that'll help. Put it in the bathroom, on the mirror if you're washing your face. Put it on your ceiling when you wake up in the morning. You can see it. Just little things that'll give you that extra push you need to write.
I think it's really hard to balance so many things, and this is my own personal opinion. I think being a student is especially difficult because your schedule is so in flux. Whereas at least if you had a 9-to-5 job, at 9 a.m. I'm starting that, at 5 p.m. I get to walk away. And because I get emails all the time, and every hour of the day, I'll have someone all of a sudden give me a certain, project to go work on, or all of a sudden something will be due. And so there's this it comes in waves. It's really hard to account for all of your time. And so that makes it really difficult for me. Personally, it makes it really hard to account for writing time. So again, that's why I try and block it off, or I'll say, okay, Saturday I'm writing, Thursday I'm writing. And so I block off, very similar to what you just said. Thursdays are usually my writing day, saying, okay, I know Wednesdays I'm on campus. I know I have phone calls and Skype interviews and everything else on Tuesdays and Fridays, but Thursday is my day. So I block it off. And so that's how I kind of function. And I also usually say what I'm doing that Thursday. So I'll say, okay, Thursday I am editing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll do that Thursday. And so I kind of give myself a little bit of a game plan. But it's not easy. It's, I can't imagine. I mean, everyone has different schedules, different things, variables they have to account for. I mean, I'm curious how everyone in the comment section does it. Do you guys do schedules? Are you more in flux? I mean, how do you guys do it? I'm curious. And then what genre do you write in? This is from Franny.
Okay, so I've got dystopia, young adult. I have an urban fantasy in the works. I'm halfway through my paranormal romance young adult novel. I have 2 books of poetry in the work. And I am starting to storyboard a crime novel, which is inspired by true events. Last Wednesday, I had the honor to see Lorde in concert.
I love the way you preface that. I had
amazing. 8th row, center stage, couldn't get better. Except, okay, so Detroit is across the border. And me and my friend Vanessa were not really familiar with the States because we live in Canada, obviously. So we got lost on the way back, and we were there till 12 a.m., 1 a.m. We didn't get back till 2 a.m. And it was so sketchy. It was so scary. Imagine just being lost in the dark, freezing cold in a city you're not even familiar with. And I was like, I'm going to take every element of this experience in, and I'm going to compile it into a crime novel.
I mean, I remember, so two subsequent stories for you with that one. I remember when I was 19, I was a law minor, and as one of my law classes, the class culminated in a trip to England. And so my professor decided he didn't want to come out with us to one of the events but it was a tour of all the locations for Jack the Ripper murders. And I'm like, why did you send us on this? And so we got separated as a group. And the two guys I were with were just, I mean, who I got separated with, they had no idea where we were. We were just wandering around England dead at night looking at murder locations. It was just so scary to me. I can't imagine, you know, oh my gosh. Another time I was in New Zealand and I was walking home by myself and it was like really eerily quiet and there was no Lord of the Rings memorabilia to make me feel better nearby. So that was scary. I mean, these are things though, life experiences.
Unfamiliarity is a very scary thing.
And then will you explore other genres in addition to, this is still Frankie, there's like a second part to her question. Will you explore other genres?
Okay, yes. I never expected to write a crime novel, but my last 3 reads have been crime novels, and I've absolutely loved every single one of them. And I was like, the back of my mind, I was like, I want to try this. Eventually I'm going to try this. And then last Wednesday happened, and I'm like, we're going to storyboard this and see where it goes.
I think that's so funny. You're like, you had this life experience, now you're gonna have a story based off of it.
Yeah.
I think that's how things happen, though. I think your life experiences do come into play after a certain.
Yeah.
And I'm not advocating like on the road Jack Kerouac. I'm not saying that, but
yeah. And my friend, my colleague, she's also in journalism with me, and she's also going into the graduate program with me. Her name is Alicia Leonard, and her Instagram handle is Reading to Know I'm Not Alone. She wants to take photos in Detroit. So, like, I'm basically going to be doing a lot of research with her as she's taking photos, and I'm going to explore, like, the really sketchy places of Detroit.
I was gonna say, you have a buddy system in place, though, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
You have someone to be with you.
Yeah. So it's exciting.
I mean, I've been taking the James Patterson masterclass, and so he was talking about knowing your locations, and he was talking about how if you can go there, all the better, and then your details are going to be even better. Because it was interesting. He has a predominantly female audience, but he says the male readers really latch onto the details. Mm-hmm. So the more detailed you can be with the location for your male audience is just going to make all the difference.
My dad's favorite author is James Patterson. So
my dad loves him.
Yeah.
James Patterson and Robert Ludlum. He loves both of them.
Yeah.
Those are, which is why I started reading them.
Paul Connolly is also a really good crime author. I just read Void Moon by him, and I was like, I've missed crime novels so much.
I think I have to be in the mood for crime novels. Again, Courtney and I do the cozy mystery. Again, it's clean. The murders happen off the pages. It's a little bit easier to digest if you want to go to sleep right away. I mean, there are other times when you read these books and you're going, okay, this just happened.
Yeah.
What do I do? Oh, we have more comments. Where did you send your manuscript?
Okay. So,
this is by the way. I was just saying who posted.
Okay.
Where did you send your manuscript?
So sorry, I was like freezing up. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Okay. So before I did send it, I did research into traditional and independent publishing companies and self-publishing, but like self-publishing and indie publishing kind of goes hand in hand, and I'll explain that. I did look up literary agents and things like that for traditional publishing, and I also looked up how long it would take, and it will take a long time. It could take over a year to just find a literary agent alone, and then a year after that just for that literary agent to find a willing publishing company to accept your novel, and then over a year to go through the editing process and all that stuff. And I was just like, this seems really unrealistic for me. So then I talked to other authors, and like I talked to them about self-publishing on Amazon. And then I got in touch with Veranda Carr. She's on Instagram. She has, I don't know how long it's been, but she started her own independent publishing company where she helps indie authors and artists publish their work. And she gave me her services for free because I am in college, and it's kind of like a trial run to see how it goes. And so far it's going really well. Like I'm a reviewer for her company as well. And from the books that I've read, like it's just, they're great stories. She also hired me on as an editor too, so that's exciting. So I get to edit other people's stories too. That's
a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of work right there.
Yeah.
Reviewing and your editing, I mean, that takes up a good chunk of time. I mean, one of those unto itself is a job.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, in short, I sent it to Veranda Car Studios, an independent publishing house. So they're very intimate. They're very friendly. So like you have just as much say as they do, and there's will always be a compromise. Like you're never going to be just shut down like you could with a traditional publishing company. So I went with an independent publishing house.
I mean, I'm curious in the comment section if you guys are interested in traditional or self-published, because we can always talk more about that as well. That's a conversation. That's a conversation unto itself. But I just saw Dana's comment; it was making me smile. It's the BJJ is good for getting out of aggressive cuddling, aka aggressive cuddling. You enjoy it because you learn how to get out of holes and such if someone is on top of you, and it's helpful for small Danas. I like the way you say small Danas. That's adorable. I'm almost 5'3", so I'm really not that tall.
I'm 5'4", so I mean, like 1 inch above average height.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, when people, I feel like I really am one of those stereotypes. This is why I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because she was a small, petite blonde. I related to that very, very much. I like the way you phrase that, though, for small Danas. Do either of you use a recorder, or do you have to write things down before you forget? This is from Lady Gizmo.
In journalism, I always have a recorder for interviews, but for creative writing, I just write it down before I forget it. I make bullet points. Maybe I'll even write a whole paragraph of a chapter. I just have to write it down.
My answer is going to depend on where I am, what time of the day it is, and what my resources are at the particular moment. If I'm in bed and I have my Post-it notes and a pen on my nightstand, which is the usual, I might write it on the Post-it note. Other times, if I have an entire scene in my head, I open up the recorder on my phone and just talk into it because it's probably 1 in the morning and I just don't want to forget. So I just have my phone like this lying in bed talking to it, which is very strange. I do that if I have an idea, one of those times. Mostly I end up taking my phone out and use the notes if I'm in public or I'm at school or something. So that ends up happening a lot. And then I email them to myself. But I usually try to have my laptop, open up the fresh document, and just write down everything that pops into my head that I don't want to forget. And, usually I think of a scene first, not so much a character, but a scene, and then things kind of grow from there. So for me, I have to write out the entire scene if I can. I don't know if you get an idea, if it's a character or the story, like, what is your idea? What's your little, crumb of creativity? I don't know how to phrase that. Is that a crumb of creativity? Does that work? I like that, maybe.
Okay. To be honest, it is so random, like absolutely random. The thought for my urban fantasy one, I was just literally sitting in bed about to open my book to read, and like it was cloudy outside, so I was just like looking out the window, and then I don't know why, I don't know where my mind wanders, but I was like, what if thought bubbles were actually thought bubbles? Like just invisible clouds that float up into the air, and then there's like these little beings that sort through everyone's thoughts, and that's their job throughout the day. And then I was like, okay, wait, I have to write this down. So then I wrote like the first 2 chapters down in my notes, and that became my like basis for my urban fantasy novel.
That sounds absolutely awesome. I didn't know any of this. This is all brand new information to me. I'm like, tell me more. I'm leaning into the computer like, tell me more about this.
So that really excited me. I was like, I've never read about this before in any fiction novel, so
I love that. I'm like, I was kind of being quiet waiting for her to just keep telling us about that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love that. I'm like, tell me more. I was looking at the comments. I'm looking at you going, I want more information on this. Detroit is super sketchy in general. Detroit is the bad place. Okay, apparently we have consensus on Detroit.
Yep.
Lady Gizmo, vision board to storyboard. I love these live streams. Thank you. Yeah. Last night we were talking about vision boards. I think writers have to be visual. It helps with descriptions.
Yeah.
Dana, your boyfriend's from Michigan. Everyone seems to have an opinion about Detroit. You visited Detroit during Christmas break. It was a successful. It was not sketchy. I think you started a conversation.
I think it depends on obviously where you go, and if you're familiar with the area, who you're with, what time of night it is.
We have another, so Moraz de la Paz. I still love your name. She's such a sweetie. It's different here in the Philippines. We usually publish our work online, and if it's, I have to lean in to read the rest. If it's received well, then they offer you a publishing contract. That's why you chose to self-publish. Interesting. You're making a face.
No, that's actually, like, it reminds me a lot of Swoon Reads, right?
I was looking into them. That's actually something I'm really considering.
Like, people and authors will post their books and their works on Swoon Reads, and if it gets a certain amount of feedback, Swoon Reads, the publishing company, will be like, all right, we're going to publish this into a physical copy in a book. That's what it reminds me a lot of, actually.
I was looking into Swoon Reads. I was actually really considering that. One of the things I was kind of mentioning before I start, not the one, this kind of happened after the 19-year-old one. I graduated my bachelor's degree in 3 years instead of 4, so I feel weird saying my junior year, but I call it my junior year. My junior year of undergrad, I had another idea, and so I was 20, and I'm almost done with this story, and I was thinking, oh, maybe Swoon Reads. But again, it's very, I don't know, there's a fluidity to the publishing industry right now, because I think you have to take self-publishing seriously. You have to take the online options seriously.
Yeah.
Wattpad, if you get enough, views or critiques or something.
Look at Amanda Todd.
Which one?
Amanda Todd. She started on Wattpad. She like the After series by Amanda Todd?
I'm looking at my bookcase. I think I have one of her books. Maybe. It's somewhere. I also know, what's her name? Amanda Hecklinger. She also was a self-published, and now she's multi-millionaire.
And that's another thing too, like, just because you self-publish, like, if you get enough exposure, if you expose yourself enough and enough people like your book, a traditional publishing company will pick up on that and be like, hey, this is a really good piece of work. Can we work on this with you? And then they will publish it through their publishing house as well. So always be open to that. Always have an open mind, but be skeptical, because this is your work. This is your baby. And you don't want to make mistakes with putting it into the wrong hands. I'm
doing that, preach. That is, if you're going to spend all your time on something, I mean, writing it's time intensive. It's
yes.
Even just staring at the walls trying to figure out, the next sentence, it can take time. I mean, one sentence, one paragraph, everything is going to require your eyeballs on it for hours on it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you want to protect it because you're the creator. No one else is going to protect it like you.
Yeah.
And then I just saw Dana's comment with the decoy bride. The main character, she walks around with this microphone. I remember, I've seen this movie probably 10 times. I love it. I know it's not exactly gonna win an Oscar, but I loved it. She's walking around with the tape recorder, and then she sits down and she types it. I believe she types it on a typewriter. And I mean, it's really a cute movie. If you guys haven't seen it, it was on Netflix for a while. Have you seen it?
No.
David Tennant, what is it, Doctor Who? Am I saying that correctly? He was one of the doctors.
Okay.
He was on Broadchurch, which probably you would like because of the crime elements.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? No?
No, I have not.
Everyone's
like, yeah, Doctor Who, and I'm like, oh, I've never gotten into it. And I feel like I'm like a lot of that with like hyped books. I don't know. I'm like, I go on the bandwagon late with a lot of things because I'm skeptical. I'm a very skeptical person.
I mean, I watched him in The Decoy Bride, and then you go see him on Broadchurch. Totally different. I mean, the personality, the funny guy. He's now the detective dealing with very serious cases. I recommend it if you like crime. I mean, it's a great.
Yeah.
I like it. I know you said you're skeptical, but I mean, I enjoyed it. It's intense though. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
Dana, you would be screwed if if the thought bubbles actually showed up. Yes. You're making
it makes me want to say something about the book, but I don't want to give it away. There's an element to it because I incorporated my own personal experience into it. Okay, I'm just gonna tell it because it's like, I don't know if I should though. It's like, will that give the storyline away? Will it not?
Think of the book cover with, I know this is texting, but you kind of are making me think of these type of bubbles as well with the texting bubbles.
Oh, yes.
This is what I mean. I love how that I can just grab things.
Okay, I'm gonna try to explain this very vaguely. So, the place in the clouds is called Atmos. I just shortened atmosphere to Atmos, and it sounded good, so I'm just gonna keep it for now.
I like that.
And the main character, well, there's gonna be two main characters. It goes back and forth every other chapter. to the character up above the clouds and to a character on the ground, like actually in like the human world. So the main character in the clouds, his name is Aries, and I used Aries because that is an air name, or sorry, an air zodiac sign, and I love zodiac signs, obviously.
You must have been doing research on this. You didn't just come up with these things on the fly.
Yes.
This is not thought out.
Yep. So it takes place in New York City because I've been to New York. I love New York. I love the atmosphere. The main character, her name is Naomi. I just love that name. It's just, I don't know. Aries finds her thought bubble, and they're supposed to put it into this slot and categorize it by emotion. Instead, he puts it in his pocket, but they're not supposed to do that. It's illegal. He could lose his job, and he could be banned from the clouds. So right now where I'm at is like he's still trying to figure out how to help this girl and stuff like that. And it's just, it's really creative. But if you knew like the entirety of the storyline, but I don't want to expose it because I want to surprise you as well, it brings in a global issue as well, and it's serious, but it's like heartfelt, and it's just in a creative way. It has to deal with domestic abuse because someone in my family went through that, and this was my creative way of expressing it because I could never express it through poetry. I could never express it through short stories, but then I found this way to do that. So,
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're making me want to, read this ASAP. Do you know that? I'm just kind of, nodding like, tell me more, tell me more.
I'm a very self-conscious person, but when I made the storyline, I was like, wow, I've never even like seen this in any other YA novel before. I was like, okay, you deserve it.
Even when you're explaining it, it doesn't sound like anything I've ever come across. And I don't mean to dub myself the queen of pop culture, but I study it. I'm always researching, and so I've come across and viewed, and every time there's a new TV show, I always put it on myself. Okay, why is this popular? And I always try and look up the numbers and stuff. I mean, the only thing I thought of was this TV show. It was on either Showtime or Stars. It was called Dead Like Me, and every time someone died, they got a Post-it note, and they were kind of the gods. And she pocketed a Post-it note one time, but then there were ramifications. But that's totally different. It's not even remotely similar. Even that made me think of it was not the same.
Yeah. So,
even just comic books, I'm getting visuals of the little thought bubbles, but what your intention is.
This is definitely a pantsing book. I already know it's going to happen. And I'm really excited to start writing it again, but right now my main focus has to be The Defective until it's published.
I want to read this book right now. This sounds amazing. I love it.
In the next 2 years, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
I was going to say, we're going to have to make you go type. You're going to have to focus. Focus. Lisa, you've been thinking about indie publishing and going back and forth, which is probably why you haven't taken the plunge yet. So my question to you is, do you have a finalized product? Do you have your finished draft? Is it polished and ready to go? Because then I think that will be a factor, right?
Yes, definitely. When I wrote my last word, and I was like, I have yet to write my author notes though, but I feel like that won't be a thing until probably a week before actual publication date because I don't know what to write about, and I still need to write a blurb, an author blurb about myself, and I can't write about myself, so I might just have one of my friends write that for
me. When you're a writer, there are certain things that are in your wheelhouse. You love writing. You just, you crave the time to go write, and then there are the things where they ask you to write them, and you're going, okay, I'm gonna go do XYZ now, and you want the distractions.
Yeah.
I'm not good at doing the biographies either.
Yeah, no. But no, definitely having it 110% done, having that rough manuscript, it kind of makes it more real, and it pushes you to say, hey, I want to send this to a publishing company, whether it be indie or traditional or self-publishing.
I also think it's important to some degree to write the story you want to write. I do think you should know your genre. I do think you should understand the themes and whatever your genre expects, the formula. A cozy mystery has certain expectations, a romance has certain expectations. Mm-hmm. But I think you should write the story you want to write first, and then if it ends up only being 40,000 words, you decide what to do with your 40,000 words. Exactly. That's gonna be different than if you have a 100-word or 100,000 word, excuse me,
Like,
100,000 word story.
if it's only 40,000 words, a lot of publishing companies don't take them unless they're 50,000 and over. Do not, and I repeat, do not add those 10,000 words just to please that publishing company.
Exactly why I raised that issue, because as soon as you go back, like, write the story you want to write first, and then you see where it fits, see where you should look. And thank you for saying don't add those 10,000 words, because, I mean, there's so many stories when you can tell people go in and add scenes just to add to their word count.
Exactly.
It's
don't
so
do
apparent to you.
Don't do it. Because you know what? There are some really good novellas out there.
The Great Gatsby is a novella.
Exactly, yep.
I was going to say, I mean, F. Scott Fitzgerald, you can't really get much better than that.
I was sent and I reviewed a dystopian novella. It was the first ever dystopian novel I've ever read. It was called Concordant. It's by indie author Izzy Almus, and it was really good. And like, I wish there was more, obviously, but it was really good novella.
I've read a lot of really good romance novellas, but I get really frustrated. This is my own personal quirk. When people call novellas books and they say, oh, I have, you know, X amount of books, and it's not actually qualified or technically a book because of the word count level. And you make your face.
Yeah. Okay. A novella is under 50,000 words. A novel is 50,000 words and over. And anyone who calls a novella a novel is wrong. And it infuriates me.
Thank you. We're sharing a brain right here, because I've had this conversation a number of times. I get very, very frustrated. There's one author in particular, I'm not going to rat her out. She's independent. She's an independent publisher for herself. She says, oh, in her bio, it says 56 best-selling books. And I'm thinking 56 best-selling novellas. Every time I want to edit her bio.
Yeah.
Every one of her books, I think, is 30, 35,000 words.
Don't feel like it's a bad thing that it's a novella. Like, I don't think I could write a novella. That's a challenge for me to cut it down and to, like, not write as much. Like, own your work. Own your novella.
Short stories, novella writing, those are skills unto itself. So write the story you want to write and then go from there. That's yes. And I just, and Maurice, you're 5'1", so I'm a little taller than you, not by much, but you're a competition level boxer. Go you. That is so impressive.
Awesome.
You want to be my, you know, my bodyguard? Because I that's impressive. And then Dana, oh, I just lost my comments. I just spoke. You're intimidating. No one wants to mess with you. And she's got her little, I love that little emoji. I don't know how you do that. Yeah, how do you do that? I'm impressed. I love that. And then you're 5 foot, so everyone here is kind of, none of us are, I was gonna say no one's over 5'5", so I think we all technically qualify as under the national average. And then you love her accent. The main character was a ghost of Raven. Oh yes, she's talking about the Decoy Bride, something McDonald. Yeah, she was the Rowena Ravenclaw in the Harry Potter series. She was also on Boardwalk Empire. I think her name is Kelly MacDonald. She was the actress in the movie. And then Alice Eve, she was the other fiance for David Tennant. Great movie, highly recommend. Ryan, your book sounds so good. Yes, I want to read it. This is from Sarah Elizabeth. It sounds a bit like magical realism. Yes, it does.
Whoa. Whoa.
Dana, she's saying you can be the next John Green, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, I feel like we're getting you before you're the New York Times bestseller almost. If that
I know, and it's like my friends who've like read my book, they're like amping me up and they're saying it's super good, but I'm just like, we'll see. We'll see what people think. We'll see how everyone else takes it. I feel like my friends have a certain bias because they're my friends, but at the same time, I know they're honest with me, and I know if they didn't like it, they tell me straight up, you can't write. So, but yeah. I've had nothing but great feedback, and it's just like, wow. So this is actually a thing.
I mean, you also, I mean, I don't know if this is kind of getting off track, but you have a platform in place. You really do have, I mean, again, I'm pitching her Instagram super hard because it's just so amazing. You have, I think, what, 6,000, 7,000 followers on Instagram alone.
Yes, yeah.
So when you're ready to publish, people will find you.
Yes, exactly, yeah. So I am thankful for every single one of my followers for that. And like anyone who's been supporting me, fellow authors, fellow writers, and fellow bloggers, I cannot thank you guys enough.
I can just see, like, I mean, we're getting you before the fame. We're getting the Ryan before the New York Times selling list. This is happening. I'm calling it someday.
I will die. I will die.
And then Lady Gizmo wants to know if it is a series or is it a standalone?
The Defective? Is she talking about The Defective?
I just lost your little screen for a second. Yes. I think just your thought bubbles. I think that was the one she was asking about.
Ooh. I think that's going to be a standalone for sure. It also has a type of contemporary vibe to it as well. And I can already picture the cover. And it's just going to be this simple pastel-y kind of cover that gives you that contemporary vibe. And it's deceiving because the content is so intense.
Kind of like a pastel?
Kind of, yeah, for sure.
I just grab stuff from my bookcase because it's just right there. I mean, this is what I kind of consider pastel, and
yeah.
I like how you already know the cover, though. I mean, you have this whole game plan, your plan in place.
Yeah.
And then we have more comments. Can you see the comments? Or yes?
No. Are they on YouTube or on here?
They're on YouTube. I was just curious because I know I was reading the comments.
Let me open up. Wait, did you send me the link to YouTube?
I sent you the link to the live stream. I think I sent it to you in an email.
Okay, yes, I got it.
The YouTube live stream because we have a 10-second delay.
Make sure to mute it. The link to YouTube? Oh my god, it's so weird.
I told you there's a little delay between.
Oh wow.
Which is why I always have to.
Extremely weird. Alrighty, I'm gonna go.
Inside look at how live streams work. So Lisa, you were on 12 rounds of edits. You're kind of like me with the excessive editing. I'm very big with editing. And then you had 2 rounds of betas. So who are your betas? Did you have friends, family? Did you get a professional editor? And then you chickened out a little, but that's okay because you're still making progress. Everything is a step in the right direction. You're not a chicken. You're just taking things slowly. And then Dana, you love short stories. Your favorite was a sci-fi one, All You Zombies by Robert A. I don't want to mispronounce this. Heinlein? Have you heard of this? No?
No.
What's that?
I can't see the comments, but I think that's just, oh wait, never mind. I'm good. Ignore me. I can see them. We're good.
You read it in a sci-fi lit class and it was so good. I need to read more sci-fi. That's probably the one genre I don't.
Girl, let me introduce you to the Illuminae files.
Illuminae as in, is that different than Illuminae?
Illuminae, Gemina, and Obsidio. Amazing.
I think I actually bought Illuminae. I just haven't read it yet.
You're gonna love it. It's so different. It's so thick, but I read it in 24 hours. It's just so good.
Thick books, I'm not, the length of a book doesn't off-put me. As long as it's good writing, it can be, 600 pages.
Yeah.
A good story. I don't care how long your book is. As long as you hold my interest the whole time. When I start to find the lulls or, you're describing a tree for 12 pages, then you're going to lose me. But as long as it's well written. And then, I'm kind of curious what else is in that sci-fi class. I think I talked about this with Courtney. Frankenstein is, the beginning of sci-fi, but I love Frankenstein. Franny is only 4'10", so we're all relatively short here. It's okay, we're friends. And then Dana, I need your Insta. Yes, your Instagram is amazing. Hers, she's Bibliovirgo across the board. I included all of her links in the description box. Go follow her everywhere. She's just.
I'm so bad with people promoting me and compliments. I'll just get these butterflies in my chest and I don't know how to express it.
Well, because I don't know how many posts you have, but you have 200 posts, I believe, somewhere in the realm of 200, 300, right?
But that's because I changed my theme.
Okay, so you have exactly 299 posts, and so she has almost 7,000 followers. So for the number of posts to the number of followers, that's impressive. Usually it takes 1,000 posts to get to almost 7,000 followers. So her content is just driving people right there. Gotta go follow her. Oh. And then thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one who cannot pronounce his name, especially when you don't know the kind of if you don't know the demographics. I think that also is a factor when you don't know how to stress certain letters. He also wrote.
Oh, you followed me, Franny. Thank you.
Everyone should be following her and everything. I did want to ask how that works for your blog, because do you have a follow button, or do you check the website periodically?
I have stats, so it tells me how many views I get per week, and I am shocked every week. On average, over 400 people view my website, and I'm just like, how? Why? How? I'm not that interesting.
I'll go check your website when I see. Yes, Max. I'll go check your website when you post on Instagram saying I have a new post or something. That's how I know to go check your website.
Yeah.
You don't have a follow button or get the email prompts.
No, unfortunately.
For my personal website, I have a Squarespace account, and again, it's not like WordPress where you can just hit follow. So
I tried WordPress, and it's just so constricting, and it's so much more difficult than it should be. So I ditched it. I'm like, WordPress, you're not made for me. It's just, it doesn't work. It's just not a good platform for me.
I think it depends on what you want to do, and you're very creative and interactive, so you like having the options to customize. Yeah. So, again, you might not have the follow button, but you're still getting the views.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I look at, too. I also have a contact form, too. So a lot of over 10 authors now have contacted me that way, if not over Instagram. So that's exciting.
I see. I have a contact form, but I think sometimes people don't check my website or see what I'm interested in. Every so often, I'll get a request for something that is just totally off the mark. If you're asking for a review on something, make sure it's something I want to read, because right off the bat, if it's something I don't want to read, I'm not probably going to give you the best review.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've had people ask me, I had one for a parenting manual. They wanted me to review a parenting manual, and I just thought, okay, this is weird. And then someone else, again, I just told you I don't read that much sci-fi. So you read a young adult, a new adult, or romance or something. No, I'm just saying I don't usually read sci-fi, but like when I get the request for that and I haven't been, talking about it, it just comes across as strange a little bit.
Another sci-fi book, the second book just came out at the beginning of April, is Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray.
I have that. I have that over here.
Yes. It's good. It's really good.
I also got this one, and I believe
I've heard good things about that one.
I don't know if I got this from my Illuma crate or if I got this from Owl Crate, but I got this in a book box.
No, I've heard good things about that one. I haven't heard anything bad about it, so.
I also have Nixia in my office. That's on my office bookshelf.
Okay.
But I have an advanced reader copy, so I don't know if they made changes since it's been published.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm not opposed to it, but I just think it's interesting when I don't review that.
I completely understand. Like, fantasy is not my go-to genre at all. So.
That's what I mean. I'm not opposed to it, but when I'm not blogging or talking about it, and then you're going, I have a book for you based on your reading interests. I'm going, is it based on my reading interests?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're getting more followers. Franny just followed you. Oh, and then Lisa, no one professional. It was a mix of friends and family. One person cried when she finished it. That's what you were going for. Okay, so I don't know if I want spoilers or not, but why are they crying? Is it a sad ending? Is it just so emotionally satisfying that you're happy at the end?
Where am I crying? What?
Lisa, one of her readers was crying at the end of her book. Well, at least you did something, right? You got it. You tapped into their emotions.
Yeah. Oh, got you on Facebook too. Do you have a Twitter? I do. I tend to actually use my personal a lot more now than my book one, because I incorporate the two, because a lot of people at school now know me as a book blogger. Like, I'll walk into a classroom, they'll be like, hey, it's Bibliovirgo. Like, hi. How's it going? So
they could be saying it, Like,
it's _ Ryan Jones __.
I've been tagging you on your Bibliovirgo.
I figured. I'm like, maybe that's why. I should have told you before that I'm using my personal more, because I'm just incorporating my books into it. Because even my teachers know that I'm a book blogger, and I'll write book columns for the paper too. So
I was tagging you on your Biblio one.
I am so sorry. I should have told you.
No, I see. It's hard to keep track when people have multiple platforms. I have words in the pages on in addition to my personal, and then part and cozies.
Yeah.
So Things vary depending on my usage.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't need to justify it to me. I just need to know where to tag you. I will tag you wherever you tell me to tag you.
Alrighty.
Oh, and so Lisa, it is a teen novel about a girl who finds herself again. I love coming of age books. I love young adult, new adult. That's one of my go-to.
Yeah.
I love them.
Ooh, a really good coming to age poetry book is Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds.
Long Way Down? I'm gonna write this one.
Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. It's a one sitting poetry book, but it's nonfiction, and he writes his experience via poetry, and it's so creative. It's amazing. Like, I've never seen poetry meet nonfiction, but if other people were to do it, he'd be the perfect example of how to do it.
I'm looking. I know there's one on my bookshelf somewhere. There is a poetry book. Is it Honey and Bees or something? I don't know what the exact title is. It's somewhere. I will find it later. And Dana, I think I relate to you on quite a few levels. It might just be getting older, but you cry at almost everything now. I think since I am older, I can relate to more things. You'll warn Dan, I'm going to cry, just a heads up. There are some books where, even if it's a happy ending, I just start bawling my eyes out. I mean, I think I talked about this. I don't know if this was a live stream or a video, but there was a book, it was a romance novel, Transcendence. Oh my goodness, just waterworks. I was bawling my eyes out. I was hyperventilating, crying. I was so just emotionally wrecked after reading that book. And that was a self-published book as well, so Data Indie Publishing.
Oh, yeah. It's actually funny because I have a blog post every Saturday. I don't know if people have seen that consistency or not, but I post the blog every Saturday, and this week's is called April Showers, so it's gonna be like books that have made me cry, so that'll be interesting. So if you want to cry, we'll have a list of books to read.
Oh my goodness, that's the thing too. There are certain books you have to be in the mood for, because if you know, I think I mentioned this during the Romantics at Heart live stream on Tuesday with Nicole. There are certain books I don't read right away because I know they're going to make me cry. I'm going to be emotional basket case. I need to be in the frame of mind to sit down and cry.
That was me before you. I put that off as long as I possibly could because I knew that was going to destroy me. And it did.
I think the book is much more emotionally draining than the movie.
I never watched the movie.
That's my own personal opinion, because the book has quite a few elements that the movie does not. For her personal background that happened before, I'm trying to be spoiler free. She went through a trauma, before the book begins, and that's a big part of her disposition and why she's still in her small town and why she's living the life she's living. But that is not a part of the movie at all. Like that backstory is eliminated entirely. But in the book, when you find out what happened to her, your heart's just breaking.
Yeah.
I was crying before he died. I was crying before he had his. Again, I don't want to be spoiler. I'm avoiding spoilers. Before he had his farewell. Again, I'm trying to his farewell. Yeah. I mean, I was crying before the main emotion. I don't know how to phrase that. The emotional climax. I was crying even before that.
Yeah. Another book, 2 books that made me cry is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover and Looking for Alaska by John Green.
Like, I have that here somewhere. It's here. I know it is. I have a lot of books by Colleen Hoover.
Yeah, I was like, it was one of her newer ones last year, so I picked it up because everyone says #coho, join the coho train. So I was like, I'm going to see what this is about, and wow, it's a lot. It's amazing.
Her books are really emotional.
Really good, yeah.
Her books, generally speaking. Her book, Too Late, it's not a romance. It's not one of her usual. She published it under C. Hoover. That book destroyed me. Have you read that one?
No, I haven't. Unfortunately, I only read one book by her so far.
Oh my gosh. That one, I don't know if that was, I was crying, but I was emotionally disturbed. That was a very disturbing book on multiple levels, and it was very graphic. She's got some writing, I don't know, she's got this writing skill to just put you in the moment and just really grab you and take you there, and sometimes you don't know if you want to be taken there.
Exactly, yeah.
She takes you against your will sometimes.
Yeah.
And then Lisa totally agrees with you. Me before you bawled like a baby, yes.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And then apparently you sound Canadian when you say sorry. Sorry? Sorry?
Oh my goodness, gravy.
How do you say it? Say sorry? Sorry? What's the accent?
Sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry.
Sorry? I don't know. I mean, I just gloss over it.
That's hilarious.
Sorry? I mean, I don't know if I have the Bostonian accent anymore because I've been living in DC for a few years now. I don't know if anyone ever hears that come out of my mouth. I don't know if that ever is a red flag or just a flag in general. Day of the Duchess by Sarah McLean was the last time. Morris de la Paz, that's the last time you bawl like a baby. I haven't read that yet. I have quite a few Sarah books, and yes, Sarah takes you on emotional journey as well.
The last book that made me cry was Knights in Rodanthe by Nicholas Sparks. Because you think it's going to be this really sweet.
No, that book, no. Again, no, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not.
You think it's going one way, and then it just turn.
Yep.
I saw the movie before I read the book.
There's a movie?
There's a movie with Richard Gere, and I forget the name. There's a movie version of Knights and there's a movie. But Nicholas Sparks, he's a crier.
He's amazing. I really like his writing. I really enjoy it.
The Notebook, A Walk to Remember.
Yep.
A Walk to Remember destroyed my soul when I was a kid because I loved Landon and Jamie. They were the ultimate couple, and they did not get their happily ever after.
I also really liked how he wrote The Longest Ride. He did a really good job with that one, too.
I liked the book more than the movie.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And this has nothing to do with staying on point with writing. Yep. We're just talking about books now. We're just talking about books that we
Sorry, guys.
I just kind of looked down. I was like, oh, yeah, the notes. Oh, well. No, I mean, I loved that book. I thought that – I didn't think the movie grasped it as much. I don't know how to phrase it. I don't
think movies can. I just don't think they can.
I think it's hard, especially when it's a romance. You have to have the nuances and you have to perhaps like those small moments. It's not as easy as I think they think it is for Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's hard to do a romance novel or a romance story done well on screen and really get the same moments. I think that's why The Notebook was such a hit, because it was a romance done right, and that's not easy.
Yeah.
And your Canadian accent is adorable.
Do I actually have an accent?
According to Dana, you have one.
That's funny.
Accent. I don't really notice it though.
No?
Not too much. I mean, until she pointed out the sorry, I didn't realize. I didn't even know I was trying to do the different variations. I feel like
I'll go across the border, and like a lot of Michigan people almost have like a southern twang to their voice, and they say like sorry. And I'm like, oh, that's really different because we really emphasize the O instead of turning it into like an A. So we say sorry, and it sounds like sue to a lot of people because we emphasize the O so much. It's really weird.
I mean, DC is transitory in nature. There are a lot of students, a lot of international. So, I mean, I'm just always surrounded by so many accents. At that point, I don't even ask anymore where people are from because I don't want to be intrusive. I just kind of it. I don't. Sometimes I don't know if that puts people on the spot when you say, "Oh, you have an accent." So I just kind of let it go. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Know if that's the right way or not, but sometimes I don't even ask because I don't want to put them on the spot.
Yeah.
But we've been very upfront with you being Canadian, so Dana.
Oh yes, I'm Canadian. I'm okay. I'll embrace it. I will embrace my accent.
Ryan, how long have you been writing? You've done very well for yourself, and Lady Gizmo is happy for you.
Okay.
Oh, she's making a little set.
How long have I been writing? I would say grade 12 is what really exposed me to my love and passion for creative writing and actually getting serious about writing a novel. You know when you have those teachers that just, you'll remember them for the rest of your life because they impacted you so much just because of the person they are and the limits they pushed you to and the encouragement they gave you and the criticism they gave you. That was my grade 12 creative writing teacher. His name is Mr. Hamlin. And he just pushed me so hard because he knew my abilities. So he wrote everything from scripts to poetry to short stories. And my final project was the first chapters of a novel, which is my paranormal romance that I'm halfway through. So I would say grade 12. So I was 16, and I'm 19 now. So I would say a solid 3 years. Yeah.
She's a youngin'. She's a youngin'.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, oh, little baby. But you are very successful. You've been able to be a student. You've been able to be a bookstagrammer. You've been able to be a writer. You've been able to juggle a lot, which is super impressive, and why I think you're a great person to talk about planning and focusing, because apparently you've done that to get where you are.
Yeah.
Very impressive. You also have to have a confidence, or have to have sort of a brave disposition to be able to put yourself out there, especially at a young age, and be able to say, I wrote this, I'm going to, submit this and see how this pans out.
And
I still held on to it.
I really think journalism helped me with that aspect, because your articles are edited by people on a daily basis, and you have to take your criticism as criticism. That's all it is. It's not personal. They're just trying to make your writing better. So I've gained confidence in my writing through that as well, and it helps me with creative writing too.
I think being a part of YouTube has kind of made me develop a little bit of a thicker skin.
Yeah.
You can't account for a lot of things that happen, and you can't account for some comments or whatever. And so I think YouTube has actually been setting me up to be a better writer and take criticism. Also, now that I'm older, I think I can view things a little less emotionally and just more logically, because I think sometimes people on Goodreads do attack the writer, and they do talk about the author instead of talking about the story. And the fact that I'm older now, I think I look at things a little differently. And so I can compartmentalize better than I think I would have, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that, to me, there was a learning and growing process. Yeah. I'm glad I held off, because I don't think I would have been ready if I was 19. I would have been very, emotionally raw if someone criticized.
You emphasize a lot that I'm a youngin'. Like, a lot of people, like, actually don't think I'm 19. I often get like 24.
You come across much older. You're very eloquent. You obviously.
Yeah, that's what people say. It's like
red.
Yeah, it's just like, this is the way you talk, and it's the way you hold yourself. So like, I matured really fast compared to other 19-year-olds. Like, all my friends are like 21 and up, because I can't relate to other 19-year-olds.
No, I mean, I mentioned this earlier. I got my bachelor's degree in 3 years instead of 4, and then I went right into my master's. I was the youngest in my program, and then I went right from master's into PhD. And every time, anything comes up about birthday, age, whatever, everyone always looks at me because I'm the youngest person in the room by several years.
Yeah.
So I know I called you young, but I get called a youngin' in my program all the time. Like, I'm always the baby, the young one, and I just turned 25. So, I mean, it's, I mean, to me, I'm the baby. I'm not that much older than you. I mean, I'm not trying.
No, yeah.
I don't have, I'm not, all wrinkly gray hair.
Oh my goodness. No, you're not. You don't have a wrinkle on your face.
Thank you. No, I mean, I just turned 25, but again, age, you've done a lot in, as a 19-year-old. I mean, when I saw your profile and stuff, even when we were talking, when you said you were in journalism school and just going to graduate school, I thought you were in graduate school already. I thought you were a graduate student. It wasn't until you made the differentiation where I was like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
She's not. I mean, I don't mean anything when I try and say you're young, and I'm just very impressed by the fact you've been able to have that emotional maturity and be able to put yourself out there and have that confidence and the writing skills in addition to everything. You were able to do that very early on, and so go you.
And journalism has really helped me with my creative writing skills too, because it helps me to write clear and concise and pick out the most important parts and the most important details.
And then Lady Gizmo is very impressed. You've been able to, do a lot in 3 years. I agree with that. And so we're talking about teachers. So Franny's 11th grade English teacher told her to keep writing, and she was your favorite teacher, and you'll forever be grateful. That's so sweet. I love hearing the success stories of teachers. And then Franny, you're amazing, and that's so awesome. You've done so much in a short time, and you get a little smiley face. Aw.
Thank you, Franny. Thank you so much.
She's not that much older. You're not that much older than me at all. I mean, I don't think you can even say, ages for friends and stuff. I mean, like who you like, you get along with who you like,
Age is a number. Age is definitely a number.
Keep the company of older folks too. So we count as your older folk company, maybe. I don't know if that counts.
My dad often calls me an old soul, so.
No, I mean, when I was 19, I wasn't friends with 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
not in the cards.
I think also when you're a reader, I think maybe it has to do with a writer disposition thing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, I was always reading, I was always studying, I was always doing stuff for school.
Yeah.
And some people say, "What? We're gonna go hang out on Friday." And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna go hang out and do something, whatever. I mean, I want to go read my
It's
book."
like I have blogs to write and book photos to take, and I have schoolwork to do.
I think it has to do with the mentality of
Yeah.
I'm going to accomplish things that I'm going to put ahead of, going to the whatever I don't know. I can't even say what local place I would go
I
hang out.
really don't go out that much.
I'm a homebody.
Stores and cafes, yes. So like out? No, not really.
No, even the people in my program will go do happy hour on Fridays, and I'm going, no, I have books I need to read. I have things I want to write. I have my to-do list. My Friday nights at the end of the week, I have things I need to do. Thank you. And so again, this is putting your writing first, being able to, prioritize your time, and having to-do lists.
Exactly.
Oh, you're 25, but people still ask you for your ID. I don't get asked for my ID ever because I don't buy alcohol or anything.
Mm-hmm.
For Massachusetts, you still have the under 21 driver's license. I still have, my driver's license is still the wrong way because I had to renew it before I turned 21, and so it still is the under 21 license even though I'm not under 21. So it looks like I have the wrong ID, but it's not. Hey, I mean, we're all doing YouTube. We're all talking about writing.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're the introverts. I think this is the group to talk about being homebodies.
I used to think I was an ambivert, and then my friend Alyssa told me, like, introvert and extrovert, like, there's actually no such thing as an ambivert because it's actually based on like your energy levels. So if you feel more tired when you're alone, you're an extrovert. That's me. I'm 110% an extrovert. I'd rather not be alone. I like to have people around me. If you're more tired when you're around people, then you're an introvert. Interesting.
I think I've mentioned this before in other live streams. I think YouTube gets the most talkative, the most outgoing version. I think social media gets to really be me because on an everyday basis, I'm not the loudest person in the room. I'm not talking this much usually at all. I tend to be very, very quiet. It's really funny because in class, my teacher, I don't really, I mean, it's not that I don't participate, but there are other people who really want to dominate the conversation, and I'm never going to try and be that person. That's just not my disposition. And so whenever I start talking, she goes, "Oh, you talk really fast," every single time, because she's not used to me talking at all because I don't do it that much. It's just I'm just not I think YouTube, you kind of get the best version of me almost.
Yeah.
And yes, introverts unite. We have our own club of homebodies. Yes. Your friends call you the hermit. I mean, when people see, to me, it's valid when you say you want to stay home on Friday night to read, watch Netflix, right? Some people look at you going, "Oh, you can do that any old time." No. And they don't get it. I get it. Lisa, you love being a homebody. You need to start a YouTube channel. Yes, start it. I'll subscribe. No one understands my love of books and writing.
You guys gave me 4 new followers. What is this like?
Aw. So aren't you glad you joined the live stream and did this over in YouTube? Commenters. You guys are amazing. It's so much fun when you comment back. I mean, I love talking to Ryan. She's awesome, but it's so much fun knowing you guys are participating and enjoying what we're talking about. And it just makes me so happy. I love it. And then Dana, you don't like loud noises. Even when watching TV, Dan has to have the subtitles on because you need the sound lower. I'm not, I live in the city, and the noise is the biggest thing for me getting used to it. It still bugs me and still gets on my nerves. And obviously when my dog barks, it gets on his nerves as well.
I'm following you back right now.
So that actually reminded me of like one of the last points.
Yeah.
Music, yes and no for writing. Do you guys have music on when you write? Are you music listeners?
I can't, because as a singer, I will sing along and then I will start typing out the words.
I think that was one of my, and then we have are you guys morning, the morning bird gets the worm, or you guys the night owl? So we also have the time of day for writing. So the question was music and then time of day. Those are my other 2 notes.
I'm both, which is a really vicious cycle because I'll get up early and then I'll stay up late. So
I do that too.
Yeah.
And then I have bags under my eyes for the next 3 days.
Exactly. Yep.
You gotta get the Tarte concealer going and, you know, put it under there.
Too Faced is my brand, though. I love Too Faced.
I honestly, I used to, I think this was more when I was an undergraduate, and also when I was not living in the city. This is the other big thing. I was a morning person, you know, first and foremost, because I could dictate my own schedule more so than anything else. But living in the city and living in an apartment building, there are noises, and, you know, Dana's not going to appreciate that. I can't control the people in the hallway who are out there till, you know, midnight, you know, closing doors or whatever, and keep me up. So I'm kind of forced to be more of a night owl because of my location, and I've had to kind of adapt. When I first moved to DC, that was really, really hard for me because I was so used to my own set schedule, and when things are out of your control and you have the variables that you can't account for, it makes it a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I'm curious with you guys in the comment section. Oh, so Dana, if you have music on, it's Pandora's Classical. Yes, I use Pandora Classical a lot. And it most ends up being movie soundtracks. I have the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. I have the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. I have the Pride and Prejudice soundtrack. I have all the movie soundtracks. You're doing the high five like me too, maybe? Yes?
Oh, me? No, I can't. I cannot, because I'll just start like moving to the music, because like I am a person, like I've done musicals and like I've been singing since I was 2, so I just feel all the music, and then I'll be like distracted from writing because I'll just start like moving and dancing.
I also find songs and put them on repeat. This has become one of my newest writing quirks. This has just been happening the last probably few months. I will put the song on repeat depending on whatever scene I'm writing. So the same song will be playing over and over and over. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I put the song on repeat, so it just keeps playing.
But I did make a playlist for The Defective on Spotify to give me a vibe.
You made a playlist? Is this available publicly?
I think it is.
I don't go on Spotify. Now I need to go on Spotify. I usually just use And then Lady Gizmo is a morning person, but you do like classical music. And then Franny, you like music, and you're both a morning and night person, so we're not alone. Dana, you are a night owl, but Dan makes you wake up for your workouts. Well, he's keeping you healthy. You know, he's keeping you exercising. So, I mean, that's not all bad. And then I can't listen to music while writing. I usually write when everyone's asleep. See, I think that's also a thing. If you have roommates, you have family members and stuff, again, you have variables you have to account for. There's a lot to distract you. I mean, I think Max is a distraction, and he's not a human being saying, hey, let's go out to lunch or something.
Mm-hmm. Like, I still live at home, but, like, I always have a spot where I can just be by myself, like, either in the basement, in my desk, or my bedroom. My dad knows, like, when I'm writing, and not to bother me, so it's really nice.
See, that's really great, though, that he respects your writing, because I think sometimes when you say you're a writer, people just assume, oh, they can do writing whenever they want, wherever they want. Yeah. And they can write at any time of the day because they're a writer, and that's what they do. Mm-hmm. People who are not writers sometimes don't get it, and that makes it more difficult. I don't know if anyone else has had challenges, but clearly I have, for me to have that disposition where I say, oh, I need to write, and sometimes people don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I remember I would take to sometimes blocking out, sections of my day and my schedule, just blocking them out, and I would schedule things around that time because I was going, no, I'm going to write this time, and no one even don't care if they need a Skype call, whatever. This is my writing time, because I know other people say, if you say, oh, this is when I write, they're not going to get that.
Yeah.
And then Lady Gizmo, you were so cute singing at the age of 2. So
I actually started singing before I really spoke. My mom would bring me into the grocery store, and she'd put me in they had these special seats for toddlers for the grocery carts, and I'd sing from the time we went into the grocery store, from the time we got out. It was really funny. I don't remember it, but my mom often told me growing up.
Aw, you really are adorable, aren't you? You're a little treasure that needs to be protected. You're just so cute. Aw. And then Lisa, you like to listen to music, and you're both you're a morning and night person. And then Dana, he drags me out of bed by the ankles. You just reminded me of Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, where
yes. I love that movie.
You're recreating that scene every day, apparently. Thank you for getting the reference and not making me feel so old. Chad Michael, it's a good movie. It's worth seeing.
It's a great movie.
And then your hubby gets you up at 4 to work out. So you guys, I mean, I think it's kind of nice that they make you be healthy and keep you on track almost. I mean, when you live by yourself, you can just hit that snooze button, but at least you're getting your exercise in. Yeah, I don't know what this is the answer to, but Lisa says, me too. You complain about not being able to have my coffee. You do feel better afterwards. I mean, I'm impressed you guys wake up that early. I used to do that when I was younger, but because I live in the city, if I wake up that early, that means my, bedtime, whatever, I'm probably getting 4 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That would not go over too well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So music, earbuds, we talked about distractions, locations, beverages, the mentality. Oh, so the only thing I think we didn't touch on was if people handwrite, type, or how they write their stories. That was the other thing from the article that I kind of red flagged.
Yes. My mind moves much too quickly to write it down on paper. So I will lose everything that I want to write down. So I always have to type, whether it be on my notes, and then I'll add it into my document after, or I will just open up my laptop and start typing. For my poetry, I write it in my notes, but then I rewrite it into a notebook. That's just for poetry, though.
I was going to say, for me, it depends on what I'm working on for the stage of writing. I have to outline by hand. I don't know what it is about outline.
No, yeah, for sure.
Outline by hand. I have notebooks, so every page will be one scene, and I'll fill in the scene or something. And then I've mentioned this before. I'm very visual, so I'll do flashcards where one flashcard is one scene, but I have to write it out and then tape it to the wall. So things vary depending on what stage I'm in. But when it comes to writing, I know people like to write some stories by hand in a notebook. Oh my goodness, my brain works so quickly. I can barely type to keep up.
Yeah.
I barely have enough, energy to type to get the words out, that level, fast quickness there. It's hard to keep up. My brain's working, a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do the handwritten. So if you guys, do you type, do you handwrite? What do you do? Because I'm curious. I mean, if you handwrite, that is so impressive.
Yeah. Like I even cursive write and I still can't keep up with it.
Well, that's the thing too. The quicker my brain's working, the messier my handwriting is going to be. It's just the faster I'm thinking, I'm trying to keep up. It becomes unreadable. I mean, that's one of my things in class is when a professor talks, super quickly, and you're trying to jot things down.
I type, but I have Post-its everywhere around the house, in the car, and in my purse. So I do jot things down. Post-its are great, man. They're lifesavers. They really are.
My favorites. I love the ones where you can kind of.
Ooh, yes.
They look like the magic trick when you're gonna do the.
Yeah.
You go like that. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing a magic trick almost. Not a very good one, but I feel like it's magic. Sticky notes are a godsend.
They really are.
In that movie, Rumi and Michelle's high school reunion, they pretended they invented Post-it notes. It was a very good, if you're going to pretend you invented something, pretending you invented Post-it notes is a very good thing to pretend you invented. I would be impressed.
Dana, combo, usually type, but have sticky notes to jot down snippets of an idea.
Or a slinky. Yes, a slinky. This is the writer version of a slinky.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think, was there anything else from the article or anything else you wanted to talk about staying focused? Because ironically, we did not stay focused during the live stream. So I think we covered all my little notes. List, the pants to the plotter.
Yeah.
Turning off Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We talked about Starbucks, the locations. I think getting in the mindset to write and then writing, that's a big thing. Because that was in your little blog post.
Yeah.
I mean, I love your blog. I think everyone should go read it and follow it.
Thank you.
I think we talked about everything in your article. So fuel, atmosphere, methods to your madness. That was what we just talked about.
Yep.
Taking breaks. Did we talk about taking breaks?
I did briefly, yes.
Did we talk about that earlier tonight? Yes, maybe. Maybe.
I think I incorporated it a little bit.
I mean, take breaks. Oh yeah, we did talk about it. We talked about yoga.
Yeah.
We did talk about that. So I think we talked about everything in your blog post.
Yeah.
We were successful. We were awesome. Is there anything else about your writing? Do you guys have any questions about?
Yeah. Writing? Any questions? Go ahead. Ask. Ask away.
So Lisa, you write it out and then you type. You wrote your first novel over 300 pages way before you got a computer. And then you lost, oh, you lost it? Oh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's impressive that you wrote it by hand, though. I mean, I always think of Jane Austen sitting there writing Pride and Prejudice. That's my go-to visual
Oh my
image.
gosh, yes.
I don't know. I mean, I know medieval people have been writing, you know, by hand for years. But, I mean, for some reason, she's my go-to.
Oh my gosh, what? Lady Gizmo. Ryan, I mean, this is a huge compliment. Has anyone ever told you that you look so much like Zendaya? You're a doll and so sweet. Good luck with all you have to do. Oh my gosh. What is this life?
I told you we love you. I told you.
I've never been told that I look like Zendaya before. I've gotten Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez, but never Zendaya. But we do have literally the same hair. Like, I saw her in The Greatest Showman, and I was like, girl, my hair looks just like yours. We have the same hair.
You could be Spider-Man's love interest in the next movie. He's your age, you know, I think, right? He's in high school in the movie, right? I mean, it's not Tobey Maguire. So
thank you so much, Lady Gizmo, though.
I know, you really are a sweetheart. You really are just like, you're a little treasure.
I need a little bit of a tan. Yes, I do. In the summer, though, I get like a caramel, kind of like a, I don't know how to compare it without being like weird, but I get a lot darker. I do. I get significantly darker, where people will like ask me if I'm like Spanish or Mexican. I'm like, no, not.
And I'm just a ghost 24/7. It's so much fun when I go into Sephora. I always have to go find the lightest shade of everything. It's so funny. I would love to be able to tan and get darker. I mean, I would just burn, and then I would end up in the hospital.
Yeah, please don't. I would be very upset.
No, I mean, I mean, when you say caramel, I'm like, I'm really jealous when you say something like that. I wish I could tan. That would be, that's a goal of mine, get a tan someday.
I'm really curious. Why do you guys think I look like Zendaya, though? Because that's really weird.
You have the same jawline. I can kind of see, you have the same kind of facial features. You do. I mean, I wasn't thinking Vanessa Hudgens. I get the Zendaya reference, though. You do. Cool. I mean, she's gorgeous. I mean, take that as the best compliment humanly, you know, take that as, you know, the best compliment.
Dana also burns super bad, so don't feel too bad.
I mean, you get the little blue, I mean, I feel like I am a little bit of a stereotype. I got the blonde hair, the blue eyes, the very pale skin.
I wish I had blue eyes, so.
Well, and the thing is with the blue eyes, my color is so light. Sometimes it's hard to tell. But I have to always wear sunglasses when I'm outside for, you know, a long period of time because the sunlight really, really bothers my eyes. So, you know, when people say they're outdoorsy, it's not that I'm not. It's just, I have difficulty when I'm outdoors, and I'm not kidding. I burn. The sunlight bothers me. I mean, I have to be conscientious of stuff.
Dresses her for Halloween.
Go for as a Greatest Showman?
Yes, from The Greatest Showman.
Who'll be your Zac Efron? Who'll be your Zac Efron?
I'll just be like, hey, Zac Efron, can you just come down to Windsor for just October 31st of 2018 just to be...
I was gonna say, you are a singer, though. I mean, that would actually be a perfect costume.
You can sing Rewrite the Stars.
Yeah, I mean, that actually would be a perfect Halloween costume. We just, you know, several months early for you.
Yep.
I mean, you can always, every day you're a published writer, so you don't have to have that costume on. So you don't have to do that. And then sunlight bothers Dana as well. Okay, I'm not alone. So Dana and I, we're very similar. Yeah. Getting burned in the sunlight. Because sometimes when I say the sunlight bothers my eyes, people I think I don't know if they understand. But it's real. I have to wear the prescription sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's real. It's a thing. Sometimes people I think assume I'm being high maintenance, but I promise you it's not a high maintenance thing. It's a health, an actual thing. It's an actual fulfillment. No, so you guys, you don't have any questions aside from if she looks like Zendaya? Questions about writing, anything? I mean, your next blog post for Bookstagram or anything else? What do you have coming up next?
I have April Showers. So that's going to be a list of books that have made me cry. And if you haven't checked any of those books out, I will also obviously link them to Amazon and Indigo for Canadian buyers. What else do I have coming up? I will be having another author interview this month because I am reading Peter, a book called Peter, which I was sent by the author. I'm actually also planning a blog tour for Brittany Christina, who I was telling you about before we entered this live chat. So I'm going to put a blog tour together for her book because I participate in blog tours enough where like I can put one together and it's going to be great. So I'm excited for that. What else do we have coming up? I have it all planned out, like my planner, every Saturday.
That's impressive. Well, this Saturday is Words in the Page. I'm wearing my Camp NaNoWriMo, well, my NaNoWriMo sweatshirt today, but last night I was wearing my Words in the Page-a-thon.
I will definitely do a recap blog post of that, of my rating on Saturday, for sure.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
For sure.
That's so exciting. No, I can't wait for Saturday to read it. I love her blog. It's so much fun to read it. You have a nice tone, I think. That's the other thing, too. You're able to blog in a way that's professional and informative, but also, I don't know if it's talkative or just kind of, you sound relatable or realistic, and you kind of have a...
The one thing that I love about authors is when they write, and I can, like, hear them as if they were sitting next to me, just talking to me.
Yeah.
I write as I talk, as I would speak to someone. I don't write superfluous, like with vocabulary. Like I'm just gonna, like, I write how I'm talking to you right now.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say informal because that's not necessarily the correct term, but definitely if it's interpersonal, is that interpersonal or just personal? How you? I mean, I'm trying to think.
Definitely make it more intimate, so like you get me, so that like. How do I explain?
Well, even the blog, even the article I printed out, it says, you know, a friend and I were talking. He's a colleague, and I thought, oh, well, there's a blog post idea right there. So you write in a very, I don't know.
I would say they're very personal, but like they're from personal experiences. So, like,
but it's not overly personal. That's the thing too. There's a fine line between using it as kind of a diving board or jumping off point, and then diving into, oh, I had breakfast at this time of day.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you have a nice balance. And again, I know I'm saying your age again, but I'm very impressed for your age, like how you're able to do all this and you're able to encapsulate and really be able to write in this particular way. Because it's not easy to get a tone and a theme.
No, it definitely wasn't. At first, I literally just started out on my WordPress account with just book reviews. And then I'm like, I don't know where the transition happened that I wanted to do more. I don't know where I wanted to do author interviews. Actually, no, author interviews came with journalism. But I don't know where blog posts came from. Like, my transition as a book blogger has been a blur. It's just been a huge blur. Like, I don't remember the transitions well because it just happened so fast.
I mean, that kind of means it kind of blended and everything was interconnected, though, which is
exactly.
I mean, I think I have to remind myself which platform I'm on because I know, again, I'm earning my PhD. I don't mean to sound, self-aggrandizing, but I know it can sound very formal and academic. So I have to sometimes kind of change my mentality of, saying, oh, the theoretical and framework and the methodologies for this. I mean, my mentality for academic writing has to be different. You can't have contractions in those journal articles. I mean, you cannot say didn't, you have to say did not. I mean, just certain stuff like that. I mean, that might be a live stream unto itself, the different platforms and how I have to write for them. But I mean, I like being able to use contractions. I like being able to, be personal and, personable as well. And that's not something academia really fosters.
Yeah, exactly.
You're nodding like, yes, exactly. The journal articles, I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
I remember one time I had a typo in something and it was, I had a contraction and someone circled it and, red flagged it a number of times and really called me out for it and going, okay, it was just a typo. Calm down.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's okay. So if you guys have any last minute questions, this is your chance because we've been going for a while now and I'm going to lose my voice very soon. So if you have any questions about writing and focusing or words in the page or what amazing thing Ryan is going to do next, I mean, type away, please ask. Because otherwise, I think we're going to call it a night soon, right?
Yeah. You can also DM me on Instagram.
She's the sweetest, too.
Yeah.
I don't even know when we first started DMing. I'm so happy I found you. I mean, you're just...
I feel like we really connected during NaNoWriMo. For sure. 110%.
Was it this past NaNoWriMo where
Yes.
kind of
2017, yeah.
I mean, I've always seen, I mean, her Instagram, again, I've been following you, I mean, since you probably started.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, your Instagram feed is beautiful. I'm still on it because I just typed it in. I love her Instagram. It's the prettiest thing ever. I mean, you did, and I also love how you now have the little coffee cups. I'm trying to angle this to the camera, but she has the little, like the little hearts to show. I don't know if it's showing on screen. I just love how you brand and show everything. And she even has a little NaNoWriMo mug.
Thank you.
I think everyone should be following you. Oh, and you do have me before you here for the crying.
Oh, yes.
No, I've been following. I think we've been on social media together for a while, so it's nice to talk to you in real time. And
I know.
You know, it's like it's virtual friends meeting in real life, kind of.
This is my first ever video call like this live. So,
well, you kind of started your YouTube, but you didn't really post regularly, or
I feel like I'm more okay. So I love on-air performance, obviously, because journalism is a lot of TV broadcast too. But I feel like more people. I did a poll as well. I don't do things without getting people's feedback. A lot of people said they'd like my blogs more. So then that's where I was like, okay, I'm just going to drive all my viewers to my website then, because why not? If people like to read my blogs, I'll just keep it at that.
I mean, YouTube, for me, I like doing the live streams. It's nice to interact and have conversations, but you don't have to edit, which is really, really nice. It takes a lot of pressure off, because editing is the biggest time
consuming.
I get very particular, very precise, trying to get it down to the second. I add animations, I add little clip-ins. It takes a lot of time, and I don't think people always realize how much time each video. For me, a 5-minute video can take 5 hours or something.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of time. And so when people say that YouTube they chose not to do it, I just nod, and so I understand. I get it. It's a lot of work, but I do think people also really like blog posts because you can access them on your phone. I mean, I think it's so much easier to kind of digest in a way. I think sometimes you can be in the mood to watch a book review or something.
Exactly, yeah.
But I mean, I love your book reviews. And I also agree with what you write a lot of the time.
Thank you.
I remember I used to think, oh, I could be a book reviewer, but I don't want to say I'm too nice, but it's really hard for me to give something less than 3 stars. It's really hard for me because I always think, oh, the writer put in their time, and all these people were involved. I get really emotional about giving something, so I just don't.
I'm a very, very blunt and honest person, and I don't care what people think. I'm going to be honest with you in my review, even if it's a book that's hyped. If I step on people's toes, I always say, I'm sorry if you don't agree with my opinion. Doesn't mean you can't read the book. Doesn't mean I don't accept your opinion, but this is my opinion and this is my review. And if you don't like it, that's fine.
I mean, I've seen some tweets recently where people say, a book that has all these 5-star reviews can also have 1-star reviews and it still be the same book because of the readers, and everyone's going to have a different reading preference and reading. And so I think that those are factors as well. But for me, I just always think, oh, if I'm a writer, I wouldn't want someone to give me, negative, whatever. I always take it very personally, but there are books that probably do deserve.
Now, the thing, I experienced this actually this past year with Winter Song and Shadow Song by S.J. Jones. At first, without reading Shadow Song, that I got sent by Raincoast, it was published by Wednesday Books. Winter Song was published by Thomas Dunn Books. I gave Winter Song 2 stars. Did not like it. There was just too much going on. Too much stuff that wasn't needed. It was out of order. The plot was just all over the place. And then I started reading Shadow Song right after, and I'm like, these publishing companies have got to be different. Want to know how I can tell? Because I'm an editor myself, and I can tell that these books have both been edited differently, one more effectively than the other. One was Wednesday Books, and one was Thomas Dunn Books when I checked. And I'm like, well, Wednesday Books is definitely the better publishing company to go, and I will never, ever read a book published ever again by Thomas Dunn. So I don't think a lot of it has to do with the publishing company you choose, and the editors, and just all of that stuff, because night and day between those 2 books by S.J. Jones. I
remember you posted that review. I remember that. Because I hadn't read the book and you actually taught me how to read. That was on my Amazon wish list, and I read your review, and I know I agree with you about other stuff. I'm going, okay,
And that's why I read it. I bought it too. Because I'm like, wow, all these people really like it. And then I read it and I was like, no.
I mean, that's the other thing too. There are some books that are really, really hyped that I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say the book. I'm not going to say it, but there is a book. People love it. It's a series. People are so excited for it. There's another one coming out. People are just so excited. And I can't. I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I read the first book. I posted a review, which I took down off of YouTube because I was talking about the love element, and everyone was, they didn't like my opinion, and they made that very abundantly clear. And then the second book came out, and the love changed with a different character, and then everyone, oh, he's the guy, and I love him, and so then apparently my first video would have been taken more seriously, and I would have had very different comments if I posted it, 2 years later or something. But I mean, I just can't do it with that particular series.
Yeah.
But everyone else loves it. It's got all these reviews. People love it, but I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't. And I'm pretty sure you made the face like I figured out what she's talking about.
I don't know if I do know which book it is, but I've been there.
You had a little face thinking. I think you had a little face where I thought, oh, I think she figured out the very vague description. There's just one series for me that's just I can't just now. Everyone else loves it. So I mean, read what makes you happy. Write what makes you happy.
Yep.
We're not getting other questions aside from Dana asking. It doesn't take 5 minutes. No, my videos take me a lot longer than 5 minutes to make. A lot longer. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people, I also think they make it look so easy, or they get into a rhythm where it's natural for them. But I get self-critical, and I'll stop. I have to take care of the dog or something. So even filming takes a while, and then editing takes a while.
Yeah. Not
a short process. And so Dana, you're too nice. So you and I relate to how we review, except for one book, and I'm kind of curious what the one book is. But so any last minute thoughts on writing, or you want to say about NaNoWriMo or your book or anything else?
NaNoWriMo changed my life, and I almost didn't do it, but I'm really happy I did, because now I have a book coming out in the summer. So
that's amazing. I mean, I feel as if you should send them either a thank you note that they should publish online and say, hey, look what happened because of NaNoWriMo. I mean, I think 3 of the books that are almost done, I have. There was one I finished during NaNoWriMo. I started another one, and it's just kind of there because it's 50,000. I think it's at 50,000 words, but it's still the first draft. I need to add the other 50,000. And then another one where I started it from scratch. So I have things because of NaNoWriMo that I haven't finalized yet, but NaNoWriMo is effective. I honestly think the camps are better for myself because I'm a student. You kind of had a perfect timing, perfect for November not needing to be in school. That kind of worked out for you.
Yeah.
For me, that was never the case. I was always juggling midterms and papers and NaNoWriMo. Yeah. It was impossible. But Camp NaNoWriMo last year was my biggest win. Yeah. That was my biggest win thus far. And then Into the Woods by Tana?
I'm reading that right now by Tana French.
You got a little excited, so I don't think you're viewing it.
I like it. But, I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, of course.
You're still super salty. There are some books that still annoy me to this day with their endings or how characters are treated. There's some books you just don't get over. Mm-hmm. Sounds like that was one of them for you. So if you guys have any last minute questions, ask them now, or DM us, or ask us later. Or, I mean, it sounds as if everyone's following you now.
Yep. Yep.
See, live streams equal followers now. It's so exciting. I'm so glad people found you, because I think everyone should find you because you're such a sweetheart and you're so talented, and I love you. I love your face. I'm making her blush.
I appreciate you a lot.
Aww. So it's a virtual hug. Virtual hug into Canada from Washington, D.C. Even though you think I'm in Seattle.
Washington and then Seattle and then Grey's Anatomy. Automatically pops into my head every time.
I'll be the Christina Yang to your Meredith Grey. How about that?
Okay, I'll accept that. I will.
And clearly I know the show, and I'm an original viewer to go with the Christina Yang reference. Just putting that out there. And then Dana wants to know, she wants your thoughts after you finish it. Once you finish the book Into the Woods by Tana French. Am I saying that correctly? Tana?
Mm-hmm.
Tana?
Oh yes, I will let you know. I will actually probably most likely DM you and be like, hey, by the way, done it now.
I was going to say, so I'm going to kind of rely on you two to tell me if I should read this eventually, because I haven't read this book yet.
Yeah.
My to-be read list is extraordinarily long, so if you guys can save me a read, if it's a bad one, save me from it.
Yeah, no problem.
Big progress in the other way. No, so it sounds like it sounds as if we answer their questions, right?
Yeah.
So this Saturday is Words and Page-a-thon. She has a new blog post coming out, so you should go follow her and everything. Just all the links are in the description box. So follow Ryan on every platform, and hopefully you'll join us for writing this Saturday for Words on the Page. So have a nice night, everybody. Any final thoughts, words? No?
Nope.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.